And hello, everybody, and welcome to the season finale Grand Prix. This is Aero PlayStation F5. We are at the beautiful Interlagos track in Brazil. If you don't know me, I'll introduce myself. Cameron Dawn, Temesis, whatever you want to call me. I'm the Northern Irish PlayStation F3 driver, currently P2 in the championship. Can't win the championship, sadly, but I've enjoyed this season, and I have the pleasure to commentate again in PlayStation F5, especially for the season finale, which is going to be one hell of a race. And this is going to be a massive, massive race. Four drivers fighting for P2 in the championship today, which is definitely going to be interesting. Now, I saw drivers out on the track. Who is the first? I believe it is James Sullivan in the Alpine reserve driver, as I get up the Brazil track layout to do a little commentary on it. Beautiful track. Uh, One of my favourite tracks, me and my dad's favourite tracks. And how many corners? 15 corners. Three in the first sector, 7 in the second, and 4 in the third, as we have a beautiful view here. Actually, someone's further ahead. It's the Alfa Romeo of Lane, who is going to be first to start his lap. Now, I'll do a little quick commentary of Lane's lap, and then I'll go into statistics, which I have noted down as Resolve has DC'd. So, Lane down to third gear, went up to fourth in turn 1, turn 2, and now turn 3, the big left-hander. And, sorry, I'm gonna have to invite a friend. Let me see, Zolf. Where is he? Zolf DC'd. That should be an invite sent out to him. Anyway, Lane is going for turn 7. Then the beautiful turn 8, to then a big left-hander is turn 9. He does it quite well. And then we'll go to turn 10. And then the kind of big left-hander, turn 11. You have to be careful if you're not on full traction, as you can't do that corner full out, I believe. And into sector 3, turn 12, turn 13, and then turn 14. And sticks to the left side of the track, turn 15, and the first lap for today, a 9.1 by Lane. However, we're going to have an Alpine and a Mercedes behind. Sullivan goes a 9.8, Morgonius an 8.4, and it looks like there as well, Morgonius could have been getting slipstream from Jim Sullivan, as Francisco goes 6 thousandths. Oh, as Francisco has a little moment we catch there, controlling the car. But Francisco goes 6 thousandths behind Morgonius. Tim comes across the line at 9.3 with a Haas. So Stack starting the lap. But now, we're going to go and watch Villeneuve as Zoff is back in. Good to see Villeneuve comes across the line at 9.1, goes P3. But what we're really focusing on today, as I said, 4 drivers are in for the not for the championship, are in for P2 in this race. Arguably 3 people, mathematically 4. And the drivers who we are looking out for today is Villeneuve goes wide. He's on an in lap though, so it doesn't really matter. Anyway, the drivers we are looking out for today is Francisco, currently P2 in quali, is on 147.5 points and is in P2. Then we have Morgonius, currently sits on pole. He is on 142 points. We have Villeneuve, who sits P3 right now on 140 points. And mathematically, Daniel, or Black Wolf, he still has a shot at getting P2. Mathematically, he still can get P2. And like, as an example, say if we're going to use Villeneuve as an example. Villeneuve, if he was to win, he would get 25 points. We're going to not count the extra points. If he gets 25 points, he goes up to 165 points, right? With this, it puts Daniel and Morgonius out for the fight for P2, and the only person who could beat Villeneuve for P2 if Villeneuve was to win today, just 25 points, is Francisco. But Francisco would have to finish in P2 minimum. But the funny thing is, if Francisco was to finish P2 and Villeneuve gets P1, Francisco will beat Villeneuve in this season by 0.5 points. 0.5 points will be the difference between Villeneuve and Francisco if Villeneuve finishes P1, Francisco finishes P2 today. Another example, Morgonius wins today. Francisco has to finish on 20 points, which would mean Francisco has to get second, but also pole and fastest lap. And by the looks of things now, it's going to be a competition, I think, between Morgonius and Francisco for pole today, which is going to be really, really interesting to see, as Zolf is just starting a lap now, and we'll watch him. I'll do the whole track guide now, because why not? Zolf currently sitting, I believe, P13, has a chance today, though, to get into the top 10 as he enters turn 5. He'll then come up to turn 6. Big right-hander, you can spin if you don't get the traction right, acceleration, etc. Turn 7, and then into turn 8. Then you have the big left-hander of turn 9. And then you have this little turn up here, which isn't actually a turn. But then you have turn 10, the big deep right-hander. He does it well, he gets acceleration down. Turn 11, he doesn't go full throttle, which is good. Go down to 4th gear for turn 12. He goes to 3rd, it's still fine though. Turn 13, turn 14 if he does it correctly, yep. And he sticks to the left of the track. Yep, turn 15, come across the line, and 8.7 puts him ahead of his teammate in P3. So that is a good lap by Zolf right there. As is anyone else on a lap? Francisco is on. Oh, Lee Webb. Sorry, I didn't see that. Lee Webb comes across the line in 8.9, puts him P4 for the now. Now, everyone last week, you would have saw that Morgonius got not his debut win. He got his maiden win in ERO. He got his first ever win. However, after the race, and the stewarding from Jacob Tucker, or if anyone knows, Jet, F1 driver, sadly Morgonius gained a penalty from an incident, and this dropped Morgonius down to P3. So Morgonius still yet to get his win, his first win, as Francisco 3 and 8.4 goes 400ths quicker than Morgonius, only improved by I think 5 or 6 hundredths in that lap. But we're going to continue watching Morgonius, who is down on his time. He's 1.6 tenths behind his current time, but he's only 4 hundredths behind now with a purple sector 2. He tucks in. Will he be able to improve 4 thousandths? That is the question. He's going to come across the line with an 8.347. He got his 3rd sector well, and will now go about 8 hundredths clear from Francisco. So good luck from Morgonius. He really needs these points today to try his best shot at getting high. As Parker, an 8.8. That puts Elliott into P4. Wow, Elliott is on the pace today. This is nice to see. Okay, so let me go through statistics. This is the first time I've really done a lot of work when it comes to seeing where's in the standings, who's going to fight for which position. And I'll just run through a few of the facts right now. So Tim Lees, in McLaren, he scores 1 point today. He gets promoted from P8 to P7 as he'll overtake the absent Wim Rolls, who has an issue sadly. There is a 7 point gap between Tim in McLaren as well and Lee Webb, who is P6 in the championship. So Tim can get P6 today as well if Lee Webb doesn't do the greatest. Then we have Shade and Zolf, as I previously mentioned about Zolf, but also Shade Maps as well. Shade Maps needs 4 points to enter into the top 10, and Zolf needs 6 points to enter the top 10. So, really, there's a fight between them to try see if one of them can get into the top 10, and if one of them can, who? As that is a spun Swiss stack on the track. Who else is on a lap? Villeneuve? Is he starting? I believe Villeneuve is starting one. We're going to watch him on his lap. And this is the one which I was wanting to talk about. Suchel and Elliot Parker. I mean, this is a funny battle because there has been a bit of beef between these two drivers throughout the season. So it's going to be quite, well, I mean, not funny, but it's going to be good to see who's actually going to win this. Suchel P15 in the championship right now on 39 points. Elliot Parker P16 on 34 points. Which means if Suchel was to not score points today, Elliot would have to finish in P7 or above, which he could do. But Elliot, I'm sorry Elliot if you're watching this, but you're prone to incidents. It's Villeneuve 2/10 up on his lap time and a purple sector 2. This can put him into around Parker's time and could promote Villeneuve back up to P4 unless his third sector is better. He's going to come across the line and he's going to improve, but he doesn't get promoted any positions as he has a little spin, but he saved it though. But he did improve. He was 2/10 up, which could have put him ahead of Elliot Parker. And then I think he's lost a 10th in Sector 3. He's done Sector 3 not so good. And has ended up losing a 10th and losing 2 potential positions, which he could have gained. So, not the greatest there. Shade Maps still in the pits. Suchel on an outlap. Nick Hill on an outlap. By looks of things, he spun in his lap of 42.4. That is a slow lap. Of course, you know, he spun as he's going off the track to avoid the Alpine. Good. You could have just pulled to the side of the track. You didn't have to go off like that, but oh well. Isford is going to come across the line. Currently P9 with a 9.3. He's going to come across the line with a 10.1. 8 tenths down in this time. Actually, no. He's on a lap now. We can tell by his ERS. So he's maybe like invalidated or... Oh, are we seeing teamwork? No, we're not. But Villeneuve and Zolf there. Villeneuve giving slipstream to Zolf. Zolf is only just starting his lap now though. So Villeneuve just giving him a bit more speed for down the straight as there is a Red Bull ahead of Black Wolf who gets out his way. Good to see. I didn't see what Zolf was up on the first sector. The drivers will be coming out for their final laps, I imagine, about now. As Zolf has went off the track, we have saw that, but that's probably going to affect this time. I can imagine he's going to be down on his time now. He won't improve much from this again, will he? Or let's see. If he's up on his time, I don't even know if quali laps can be reported. Is he up on his time? He's 2/10 up on his time after that little mess up. However, 2/10 won't promote him any places, but it will promote him by 2/10 of course and put him closer to Francisco. Zolf's going to come across the line and will stay P3? He'll stay P3 but will make a extended gap to Parker. We'll send 8.5. Now, a tenth, like about 1.4 tenths by Francisco, but now is clear of Parker by 3 tenths. So a good gap there for Zolf, as we could see. All the drivers are coming out for their laps now. Suchel comes across the line, I believe that was. No, he's on another lap or an in-lap or something. 9.2 goes P8, so a good lap by him. Nick Hill, oh, that was a James Sullivan move, please. Thank you. Good reactions, James. As that was Suchel? No, it was Swiss stacking. Was he on a lap? He wasn't. He's going on a lap now. This will be the last lap for everyone. We can see everyone is on a lap. We just don't know who to watch. We just don't know who to watch. Why is there fighting? Why is there fighting? Is that James Sullivan? No, it's not. It's Isford. Isford invalidated. He was letting Alfa Romeo ahead of Maverick, but Anyway, Margonius starting his lap now with a Red Bull very close behind. That is Black Wolf. Black Wolf is using... Oh wait, no, he just finished a lap, Black Wolf. So he's got the help from Margonius there and gained a lot of time. And promoted up to P9, but just dropped down to P10 after Tim, P6 and 8.8. So good time so far. Who is the next one on the lap? I believe that's a Williams. Is it? It's Francisco. And Francisco's on a lap, so we're going to see. No, he's not. Never mind. Next driver is Shade Maps, who dives into the pits. Luckily, he stays on the white lines, but you can't get a pit lane exit penalty anyway. An Alfa Romeo lane that comes across the line to start a lap. I'm just being so dumb right now. Is this Lee Webb, who dives into the pit? So Lee Webb will be starting from P4 at highest. Zolf in the pits as well will be starting from P3 at highest. And Elliot, you've timed it wrong, mate. What are you doing? Oh, Elliot, you've left it too late, mate. I'm sorry. But you're not going to be able to set another lap. As there's an Alpine off the track with no front wing. No, it's James Sullivan. James has spun and has got front wing damage. Is he going to try help anyone with slipstream? No, he's not. He's just going to stay tucked. He wasn't really tucked in there, but anyway. Nick Hill lets Maverick by. Nice to see. Margonius in the pits. And Francisco invalidated. So Margonius will not improve. He stays in the pits. So Francisco, right now, seems to be the only driver who can potentially challenge Margonius for pole today, as loads of drivers in the pits have now finished. Margonius P1, Zolf P3, Lewa P4, Parker P6, Sutro P10, Eswell P12, Sullivan P13, Shademaps P15. Francisco is 700ths up. This will put him, I believe, 100th behind Margonius. So he needs to improve just by a few hundredths more, and Francisco will have pole today, which can help him fight and keep ahead of Margonius for P2 in the championship. Both on their debut season, remember, as he hits the grass, but actually has kind of helped him a little bit. Villeneuve goes up to P4, I'm sorry I didn't see that, and 8.5, close behind his teammate Zolf. Francisco is a 10th up on his time. This will put Francisco on pole. I don't believe anyone else could come near him except Lane. Francisco's going to come across the line. Will he get pole on the debut race? He invalidates! Francisco cut the line too much and invalidates on the straight. As Lane comes across the line and does a nice little spinner for us. So Stack is the last driver, and that's it. So Francisco, into turn 15, I believe that was, he cuts the line too much and ends up as invalidating his pole lap. That was going to be pole for Francisco if he did not do that. Oh, that is just unlucky. So, front row is the two drivers who are second and third in the championship and are fighting for P2 today in the championship. Margonius gets pole, so an extra point. Then we have Francisco in P2. We then have a Ferrari locked down in the second row. We have Zulf and Villeneuve. We then have Lee Webb in P5, Lane in P6, Elliott Parker in P7, love to see that, and Tim in P8. We then have Swistak P9, Suchel, Daniel or Black Wolf. We then have Isford, James Sullivan, Maverick, Shade Maps, and Nick Hill. So looking at that, a Ferrari lockdown. Interesting thing is going to be, is Zulf going to let pass Villeneuve? Because remember, as I mentioned, Zulf is looking to get into the top 10 today. Because Zulf is 6 points out of the top 10. Shade Maps, starting from, I believe, second last or third last, is also close to the top 10 today. However, Shade Maps has said, now, it looks dry. There is clouds, but it doesn't actually look wet. It looks quite sunny. But, interesting thing to note, Shade Maps in the chat and stuff has said there's going to be chaos. He's being inspired for chaos in lap 1 here. And he said he's going to turn into Fat Neek. And if you remember from Jeddah, we know what Fat Neek did. We won't mention his name much. But if Shade Maps does what he says, it's not going to go well. That's all I'm saying. There's going to be no formation lap still. Please, Codemaster, fix your game. As for the finale, it's 5 red lights. It's lights out, and away we go as Lane gets a drive-through penalty, P6. But who gets the better start? Francisco is side by side with Margolius into turn 1. Please, clean racing, clean racing. Margo! No! Margolius takes a different line. Francisco is a damaged front wing now, I believe, because of this. But is using... Oh, Francisco, I think it's a damaged front wing now. We have to see. I think that's Zulf. Zulf has completely lost his front wing. Zulf no longer has no front wing. Lee Webb jumped. Villeneuve fallen. Villeneuve doesn't seem to have any damage in his front wing as Lee Webb gets past Zulf. Zulf having no front wing, remember. Francisco is missing an end plate, I believe. If I saw correctly. I want to see the better angle. Yeah, he's missing his right end plate. Oh, what is that? Was that Elliott? That might have been Elliott doing a dive there on Lean and Villeneuve, which led to Villeneuve going off track. They're still fighting. Oh, as Villeneuve has shoved Elliott off track a little bit there. Villeneuve has his front wing, right? As Francisco's in the pits. Let's see who else is. Zulf, Lane, Villeneuve. So, a lot of the top drivers in the pits right now to save... As Lee Webb, a mistake in turn 1. Tim is now going to gain on Lee Webb, and Elliott Parker is going to be in contention right now for a podium. Don't dive it, Elliott, please. Thank you. Don't do anything dumb, please. As that is James Sullivan at the back has spun. Look at this gap already formed. Lee Webb having that mistake. A 3.5 second gap already between Margolius and Lee Webb. As Elliott's gone! No, Elliott! Oh no, Elliott is spun and drops to P11 outside of the points now. In his battle with Suchel. Suchel P5 right now. Oh, that's unlucky for Elliott, but of course, safety cars could happen. So we'll wait and see if things go in favour of Suchel or Elliott later on in the race. This gap between Lee Webb and Margolius is increasing by about a tenth or two a lap. The gap's now 3.7, was 3.5 halfway through that lap. S4 is in the pits. Who will get DRS? Maverick is going to get DRS on Tim, which is going to be quite interesting. We can see ERS here. Margolius is saving. Lee Webb is relatively saving. As Black Wolf is past Suchel. Black Wolf up at the P5. Finished P2 in the last 2 races. So will be interesting to see. I forgot to mention as well. I was talking about how Margonius ended up getting a 3-second time penalty and dropped the third. I didn't mention this. Villeneuve from Abu Dhabi, after Margonius got the penalty, got his first win since January of this year. The 28th of January, 2022, as that's Maverick gone at turn 10, and he spun, and his shade map's right behind him, and Shades had to slow down because of him. But anyway, like I was saying, Villeneuve, is Lee Webb in the pits? No, me just saying stuff. Anyway, like I was saying, yeah, Villeneuve, after Margonius got the penalty last week, Villeneuve took his first race win since January 2022, the 28th to be exact, and that race was the first race last season, in season 7 at Kota. It's the last time Villeneuve won, as Lee Webb has already picked up a 3-second time penalty 4 laps into the race. Elliot Parker as well, I should say as well, we see pick him up a 3-second time penalty as well. Elliot may have spun again as Francisco and Zolf have both got past him, so it's not going great for Elliot right now. But interesting thing to note, Margonius technically right now has a 6.7 second gap to Lee Webb behind, but actually no, 7 seconds now, as that's Maverick gone again, and that turn 10 again. So Maverick does not like turn 10 whatsoever. That is 2 laps in a row he is now spun on the track. Please don't be in a dangerous position. Let James pass. Oh no. Okay. He's went wide. I guess you could say that's good. As Francisco and James Sullivan. Francisco, of course, on the new tyres. That's one thing we didn't look at. Sorry. Maverick on softs. Elliot has pitted onto the softs since, as Francisco is past James Sullivan. Are they going to be side by side? No, they are not. Suchel on the hard tyres. Everyone else on the mediums at the start. So, interesting thing to see. Margonius is on full ERS, which is an interesting thing to see. Surely he wants to use some, maybe take fastest lap, as Villeneuve has just took his fastest lap off of him. But we've got Lee Webb. So, as I'm just getting a message from Gio, you may know him from last season, saying an interesting fact, which I will read out now. Thank you, Alex, for this. He says, if Margonius gets 6 more points than Rocha, it will be the 3rd Englishman in a row to finish P2 in F5. And that is true. If Margonius finishes P2 today, 6 more points than Francisco, and as it stands right now, he's going to have 24 more points than Francisco in this race. It means it'll be 3 seasons in a row that there's an English driver or a UK driver sitting in the 2nd place after the season. And the reason why Alex is saying that is because he got 2nd last season in F5 and is now my teammate in F3 for this season. But yeah, could be a 2nd, 3rd time in a row, as that is Nick Hill has spun. That's at turn 8, so that's a weird place to spin, as Elliot Parker will be a bit closer behind him now, about 4 seconds. We could see a move get done there. Anyway, we move back up to the front, and we're seeing a little DRS chain forming right now. So, we see Black Wolf and Swisstack. Is Swisstack going to go on the move? He is. They're going to go side by side into turn 3. Is it good racing? We saw Swisstack's hand come up here, so there was a bit of contact, but he gets the move done up into turn 6. Swisstack is ahead. Little DRS chain. Swisstack Black Wolf Suchel, a Haas sandwich. So that will be interesting to see as we see a few people getting close behind. We see Zolf closing in on James Sullivan. 4P10, we see Esfod and Nick Hill side by side as Esfod gets past. As Zolf has spun, that is a really awkward place to spin. That's midway through turn 6. Zolf has spun, and we see Nick Hill spin as well from Zolf. Wow, that Zolf is struggling now. The tyres are boiling. They've been cooked, and they're now really, really hot, and it's going to be really hard to handle the tyres. As if we look back up to the front, what is this gap? A 8.2 second gap technically from Morgonius to Lee Webb, as he has a 3-second time penalty right now. Really, really interesting to see with that. As I'm hitting the wrong buttons. Just need to see what disappears there. Okay. So, yeah, 8-second gap still, but the Haas and Red Bull sandwich is still a thing. But are we going to see a move from Black Box or Suchel on to the driver in front? Will we see Black Wolf try get a move done? No, but I believe we're going to see Suchel try get a move done. He's using his ERS already. He's going to open up the ERS, and they're going to go side by side on the home straight. Black Wolf tucks in, and I believe Suchel is already past. Yes, he is. So the Haases working together and are now both past the Red Bull driver of Black Wolf, and will now, I imagine, work together to try keep ahead of Black Wolf, unless they want to fight here. But I don't think they should. I think they should just keep together and work together. As Suchel's on the hard tyres as well, so he will be going for longer. So if there is teamwork happening, Swiss Stack should let Suchel past eventually. As that isn't Lee Webb who's spun, it is Nick Hill. As Francisco gets a 3-second time penalty. Interesting. As Nick Hill has now been lapped, so maybe a retirement in the pits before causing a safety car maybe. But look at this pace difference. 10.4 second gap between Tim and Swistak. Tim has fallen out of the 3-second gap on Lee Webb, so Lee Webb's still technically P2 in this race. And Tim P3. Of course, remember, Tim he needs just 1 point today to overtake Vin Rolls for P7. But the other driver who he could have beat to P6 is Lee Webb, but Lee Webb sits P2 right now. So as it stands right now, Morgonius will go up to P2. Lee Webb, I believe, stays P6. Tim will go up to P7. As Elliott is gone again, 9-lap old softs. Has spun on turn 1. Lets Zolf past as his tyres are gone. Oh no, Elliott. One of his favourite tracks, one of his best quali performances as well this season. Hopefully he doesn't get in the way of Maverick. Please don't. Yes, okay. Is Suchel gone? Suchel is gone. Oh, that changes things. The hard compound runner was P6, no, P5 I mean. Now spun, drops to P9. Okay. So now the top drivers are all medium runners, as Francisco is past Shade Maps. 4 P7. Shade Maps looking points to date to try get into the top 10 of the standings. As we're going to see Francisco kind of weaving a little bit. I think there was maybe team orders there. I think Shade let past Francisco, and Francisco's doing a little weave to say thank you to Shade, as Shade will continue to try to stay behind Francisco and use him for DRS. But he may drop out. I'm not sure. We're going to have to see. This gap between Tim and Swistak, oh my goodness, 12.4 seconds we're now at. That is about 2 seconds gained in, I believe, 2 or 3 laps. So there is an augural pace between the top 3 drivers compared to the rest. As Elliott is in the pits. Is he going to continue? He is lapped now. He is going to continue. Is he going to come out in front of Swistak? Because of course you don't want to be getting, the blue flags. I believe he is. He can't help his teammate Blackwolf because he is a lapped car. If anything though, he should let Swistak pass. But right now, he shouldn't because he's too far ahead. He's on new mediums as well. So potentially, Elliott could just stay ahead of Swistak. As Zolf sets a new fastest lap on 10 lap old hards. Surely used his ERS. Yeah, he did. He's full ERS it. And now sits on none. As Elliott gets another 3-second time penalty. That's him up to 6 seconds now. So, who's the closest? Lean to Blackwolf, or Leandro to Daniel? However you want to say. You want to say their real names, you want to say their gamer tags. Lean RL to Blackwolf, Daniel to Leandro. Leandro is going to use ERS. Will he try to get the move done on the straight? By the looks of things, he is. Is Daniel using? No, he's not. It's going to go side-by-side action into turn 1, or is it? Lean is ahead, but Blackwolf will take the different line and will try to get a better exit and look for a move on the straight. Will he use his ERS? No, he will not. Okay, so it's now how the race stands. Morgonius an 8-second gap to Lee Webb because of Lee Webb's 3-second time penalty. Then, technically, a 2.2 second gap to Tim. Then the top 3 have a massive 14-second gap to the drivers behind, or should I say Tim. Morgonius probably has about, a 25-second gap to the drivers behind in P4, which is unbelievable. But behind Swistak is other drivers. We have Lane behind in the DRS range. Blackwolf has had a mistake and has fallen out of the DRS range, with Francisco gaining back his positions after getting a damage from wing from Morgonius on the first lap of the race. And I've just thought that could clearly be a report, as Lean is past Swistak, but the difference is Lean fully using his ERS, Swistak on 60%. But it looks like Lean has just got far enough ahead for Swistak to not be able to catch back up. He is using, and now stops using, so yeah, I'd say a smart decision there. As this is, Maverick and Morgonius. As Blackwolf gets a 3-second time penalty, currently sitting P7. Francisco has got past Blackwolf. Blackwolf is struggling now. Daniel having a few problems and is losing time to the drivers behind. So we're going to see what will happen because of that. Villeneuve and James Sullivan. James nearly going on a move on Villeneuve into turn 4 on the second DRS straight as Nick Hill has bent it on the pit exit. And that's a safety car. So Nick Hill bent... Wait, no, is it on the... Is it? No, it's not. It's turn 1. Nick Hill's bent it in turn 1, and it brings out a safety car. And Tim is fast enough to judge that, and is in the pits. And onto the hards. Nice. Tim, this is really helping him. Lean is in. All of the drivers should be in. Yeah, all of them are coming in. This is the right decision. Shade should be in as well, but is going a bit slower as, of course, Francisco is in the pits right now, so he doesn't want to get delayed at all, as, of course, we're going to see positions move, but we know it's going to come out Lane, Swistak, Francisco, Blackwolf. Swistak nearly got overtaken there by Francisco in the pits, and Margonius and Lee Webb. Interesting thing to note here, remember. Of course, they were already past the pit lane when it came to the safety car coming out. But of course, they're going to go into the pits now, I imagine, and come out on the hard tyres and come ahead. We're going to see switching from these drivers, but it's going to be Villeneuve, Jim Sullivan, Zolf and Isford? Zolfin and Isford. Isford on the soft tyres, interesting. Suchel on the mediums, Sully on the mediums, Zolf on the mediums. What is this camera angle we've got? We get to see the Ferrari garage. This is actually quite nice. Hello, people. Wow, that was a weird glitch. But, moving on. Morgonius, Lee Webb in the pits. Morgonius is already on the hard tyres. Should be coming ahead. That is Elliot. Is Elliot going to unlap himself? No, 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 no. Morgonius, please slow down. Please. Be a legend. Oh my god. That's going to be close. Go on, Elliot. Elliot, so... No, Elliot! Wait. Huh? It's no way is Elliot the leader. Elliot's unlocked! Oh my goodness. That is the funniest thing I've ever saw. Oh my goodness. Elliot managed to get in front of Morgonius, has been told to overtake the safety car. Parker, Elliot's race is back on. Oh my goodness. That is hilarious. There's Morgonius, Lee Webb, and Tim all behind the safety car now. But what on earth happened there? That is funny. Elliot unlapping himself somehow. Having to beat Morgonius out of the pits. And will now be the person holding everyone up. Maverick, why are you... Mate, I'm sorry, but why did you not go in? Go on to the mediums at least. Instead of continuing on 11 lap old hards. I don't get it. But it's fine. You know, I'm not judging the setup. Or whatever plan he's doing. He could be doing something which I'm just not realising. Who knows? But anyway, let's kind of look how things stand right now. So, as things stand right now, Morgonius will take the P2 in the championship. Francisco will take P3. Villeneuve will keep P4. And Blackwolf will keep P5. Actually, give me 1 second. Interesting thing is Lee Webb. What happens if, like, Lee Webb finishes second as it stands right now? Let's look at standings and have a check, because I know Lee Webb was mathematically still in the chance of overtaking of Daniel. So let's see. The drivers there and there. Standings just doesn't want to work right now. Oh, it's a 29-point gap. Never mind. Wait, is it? Yeah, it's a 29-point gap. Never mind. Forget what I was saying. He can't. It's me just being dumb. So Lee Webb can, if he just stays like this right now, the highest position he's going to get in this season is P6, which is still a really good finish from Lee Webb for this season. As I imagine this safety car will be in the next lap, as Elliot hasn't fully caught up yet. But interesting thing as well to remember, Morgonius, Lee Webb having to wait a lap to go into the pits. So they're on a lap old fresher hards than the 6 drivers behind: Tim, Lean, Swisstack, Francisco, Black Wolf, and Shade Maps. Shade Maps is in again? Okay. Don't know what he's doing there. Anyway, Suchel on the mediums. They could last. I'm not sure. It's going to be close. He's going to be near puncture territory, I believe. So we'll have to see what he can do there. As Shade Maps and Maverick are in the pits, and Elliot Parker is up at the P13. He was lapped, unlapped himself before the safety car, and has gained himself 2 positions from it. Things you love to see, because of course we all love Elliot. But anyway, top 7 are on the hard tyres, of course. Then we have Suchel on the mediums, then we have Villeneuve on the hards, and then we have James Sullivan on the mediums, we have Zolf on the mediums, we have Esford on the softs. Esford probably just looking to be fast off of the restart, I imagine, to just try compete with the other drivers. I imagine that would be my guess at least. But safety car should be in this lap as Maverick is about to catch up. It should be in this lap. It should come up now. Is it in this lap? Yes, it is. So, we're halfway in the race already. And our current P3 in the championship fighting for P2, Morgonius, got robbed off of his win last week after getting a penalty. And will look again in the last race for his maiden win. He goes early and catches Lee Webb sleeping, I would say that is. But Tim and Lean are very close behind. Tim... Oh, you besom. Lee Webb broke a bit early. That is Francisco and Swistak. I believe that's Francisco making contact with Swistak, actually. And Swistak is holding up Francisco. 1.4 second gap already to the drivers in front. They're in not clean racing between these two. And Black Wolf's following him. And Black Wolf's up ahead of Swistak. Is Swistak going to let his teammate pass? Zolf. Oh, Zolf is spun at the back. Unlucky to Zolf, but we've got to continue with this because we're going to see dive bombs, surely. Can we get a better camera angle, please? Yeah, we are. Villeneuve on Suchel gets a 3-second time penalty because of it. He tries to do a ridiculous send, and it doesn't work. Will he do it again here? No, he will not. He stays behind. It's a good decision right there. Parker, Esford, anything happening between them? No. Look at the gaps already, man. What is this? Mergonius already using this ERS fully. The top three are fully pushing already with their ERS. Morgonius already got a 1.3 second gap to Lee Webb behind. And then Lee Webb's got a 1.3 second gap to Tim behind. But Tim carries everyone behind in a DRS train. As there is fighting between the Alpine teammates. Well, they're not teammates technically. Esford and James Sullivan. Esford gets ahead on the soft tyres. James Sullivan is a reserve, remember. Elliot Parker is behind. Is Elliot going to send it? I don't think he should. No, he doesn't. Takes a bit of a different line. Maybe it will pay off. Will it pay off? Elliot loves sends into this corner. Watch it right here. This corner right here, he's sending it. What did I say? Elliot Parker sends it. Does he get the move? James has got the inside, and he gets the move. What did I say? I know Elliot, man. I know him like a book. Anyway, so 3-second time penalty at the back. As, yeah, Tim is carrying a DRS chain now of all the drivers behind. Tim not being able to show the pace which he had against like Swistak and Suchel and all them before. And it's now going to be under pressure from Lean into turn 1. But Lean stays behind. But there is DRS now, I believe. So Lean is going to get DRS now. Is he going to use ERS to try get the move? No, he will not. He's not going to use. Could be actually. Lean could have picked up a warning there. Potentially. We'll have to see. And race director. But interesting thing to note, remember, Lee Webb has this 3-second time penalty, so he's really pushing to just try get away from the drivers behind. As it stands right now, Lee Webb will drop out of his podium position. Tim will get promoted to P2, Lean to P3. So, Lee Webb's really pushing, as we can see. There's a gap beginning to form between Lee Webb and Tim, nearly a 3-second gap. As I think now Lean has fallen out of getting a podium. But never mind, because he's going to go on the move on Tim in turn 1. Please, good racing. Tim takes a wider line, Lean takes a bit of a closer line, but gets the better exit. Oh, it's Tim as a moment! Lean saves him. No, he doesn't! Lean's in the wall, DNFs. Oh, that's a safety car. It's another safety car. As we saw another driver spin as well, I believe, right? Was it Francisco having a moment? I think it was. As Parker gets a 5-second time penalty for a collision with Swiss Stack. But, I mean, I'm sorry, but who is at fault there? I don't know who you'd say is at fault for that bit there. It's a bit of a weird one. Because, of course, we were watching Lane. As Margolius gets a drive-through penalty! Oh my goodness! This ends Margolius' race. The safety car is waiting on him. And he can't go into the pits now. Don't go in the pits, Margolius. You can't serve a drive-through penalty. You can't serve a drive-through, mate! Or is he going to retire? Don't retire, please, Margolius, please. You can't serve a drive-through now, mate. Oh no, I don't think he knows. They're going to put on medium tyres. Oh no, Thomas! Oh, Thomas has messed it up. Tim's in. Okay, Tim taking a gamble. I love this. Oh, that's a heartbreak for Thomas. In the fight for P2 and he gets a drive-through penalty. Oh. That is so unlucky, but interesting thing. Aston Martin, safety car, Aston Martin P1. As Lee Webb has the lead of the race right now. And Francisco has somehow made his way back up to P2. I don't know how he's done it. He started P2, got front wing damage on lap 1, pitted lap 1, was like P13 or P12, and then now back up to P2. I don't get it. So S4 in the pits, of course he was on the soft tyres. So it makes sense. Oh wait, no, he was on mediums and he's coming in on more mediums. I don't know. So S4 is catching up. Is he going to catch up in time for it to be in this lap? Potentially? I don't think he can. Actually, it might be. It's going to be close. It's actually going to be... It's going to be really close. It isn't. Okay. So, we saw a safety car in lap 18. We now see one in lap 24. We saw one halfway through the race. We now see one 2/3 of the way through the race. And it is Lee Webb controlling the field. Morgoni is still having a drive-through penalty in P9. This means Francisco is currently favourite for P2. But we're going to have to see Lee Webb goes. And Francisco is there. He isn't caught. Is anyone caught sleeping? Shade Map's actually getting a good start compared to Swiss Stack. Tim and Morgonius. Morgonius is in now to serve his drive-through penalty. Probably the best time to serve it. Yep, as he's going to drive through the pit lane. Oh, Black Wolf, Daniel, no! What's happened? What's happened? What was that? Oh my goodness. I don't like this. I don't like this. Why was Zolf stopped on the track? What happened? What was that? Anyway, Shade Maps is gone. Anyway, Suchel's currently leading the race technically because of penalties. So this is fun. As you can see, everyone's getting time penalties. So currently it's Suchel P1 and like Swistak P2 or P3. So currently Haas are doing like a 1-2 or a 1-3 or something, which is unbelievable. Yeah, I believe Swistak is P3 now. I think so. I'm not sure. This is interesting. Blackwell's in the pits. He is front wing damage, didn't he? Sadly, he did. He's going to go onto the soft tire and snatch the fastest lap off someone, so he'll finish the season on a point. Hopefully, if he can keep the point. Also, if he can beat Maverick, because Maverick is in, and imagine Maverick's going to go into softs. His front wing's completely gone. And yeah, he is also in, and Shade Maps is in. So there's going to be a three-way battle for fastest lap. But what we have to witness is James Sullivan is now the front leader out of... Oh, Parker, don't do it. Oh, my days, Parker's done it again. Read him like a book into that corner. Has he actually got Tim? He has. He's passed Tim. And it's now, out of the people who pitted, it's now James Sullivan, Parker, and Tim. And Zolf and Esfod side by side. Esfod broke on the corner. Zolf is in the pits, as I believe he lost his front wing or lost a bit of it. I believe Shade Maps has retired. That's on track. Oh my goodness, it's another safety car. Let's watch Morgonius to see. Where has Shade binned it? Huh? He's crashed in the pit wall, but then like reset the track and his car was in the middle of the track. I just thought, Morgonius is now back in the race. But interesting thing to note as well, Zolf, Blackwolf, Maverick just went onto softs. Most of the drivers here are going to go onto softs. The top 5 will go onto softs. And I think this means James Sullivan's going to be in the lead of the race. Elliot, I hope Elliot stays out. If Elliot, I think if Elliot has a brain, he should stay out. And I hope he does. But we're going to watch the drivers at front. Will they go in? Lee Webb stays out. Francisco stays out. Villeneuve stays out. Suchel stays out. Swistak stays out. James stays out. Nah, okay, most drivers staying out. Never mind. Forget what I said. If anything, Suchel... Actually, no. His tyres are okay. But Morgonius, all of a sudden, back in the race pretty much. So, of course, Morgonius got a drive-through penalty from the second safety car. This is our third safety car in the last race of the season. And it's been a safety car cause from the 3 DNF drivers. I thought we were doing quite well. We went half the race. We went 18 laps without a safety car. And now in 10 laps we've had 3. But anyway, this is what racing is about. And as it stands, because of the penalties, it's a Haas 1-2. Which I don't get. A Haas 1-2. When was the last time you heard that? Never, because they've never got one. So, it's going to be interesting. Oh, okay. A little breather. Should be in this lap as Maverick is catching up. But we just take a little minute or two breather. Oh, okay. So, oh, it's going to be close. Maverick might not actually catch up this lap. But, if it is this lap, it's going to be 6 laps of racing, I believe. 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. 30. Oh no, 7 laps, I mean. Oh, it's going to be really close. He slows down. Maverick. It's in. It's in this lap. So, the third safety car and the second safety car, which we see Lee Webb controlling it, with Francisco behind. And Francisco maybe contact with Lee Webb there? Like, he's really close up behind. But 7 laps of racing for P2 in the championship for a few of these drivers. As Lee Webb is gone, and who's caught napping? No one. Tim, behind Elliot Parker, is going to send it on Elliot as James is broke really. Ah! Tim is big brain. Did you see that? The Haas drivers. Oh my goodness. Oh. Okay. We just saw that between Zulf and Tim. We're going to have to see him reports, but that is Tim's hopes gone. He just needed to gain 1 point to get promoted into P7 in the championship, but he can't. It's unlucky, Tim. Neither Shade Maps or Zulf can get into the top 10 either now. Margonius is up into P7 already, and with penalties, has a good shot of gaining quite a few positions in this race. Oh, you! Oh my goodness, nah, Margonius Thomas, what are you doing, mate? I'm sorry. What was that? You gained a 3-second from it, and I'm sorry, but you kind of deserve it after that. What on earth is that? You've probably gave Daniel a heart attack there. No, that's like, no, you're too far behind. You're way too far behind to be doing that. I'm sorry, but no. And yeah, you just got a 3-second because of that as well. So you, like I said, kind of deserve it after that. I'm sorry, but Elliot is in contention for quite high points here. Bosuccio is in contention for the win of the race. Wait, Lee Webb damage? Lee Webb's in the pits. And Francisco's back in the lead. So, as it stands right now, Margolis is going to finish P4 in the championship. And Villeneuve will finish P3. He's going to be on the podium step for the championship. After being P4 last season. As the host is gone, that is Tim. Hopefully it's went to me, or else this lobby is about to have some mad internet issues. And I hope it doesn't. But, like I said, Suchel right now, because of penalties, is in the lead of the race. As we see Elliot and Isford fighting. They're side by side. Is it? Elliot did leave room there. Oh my goodness, Elliot is going to be really pushy here. He's not going to let Isford pass at all. I know how Elliot drives. Elliot is not going to let him pass. As Margonis is in? Margoni, yeah. I'm lost. I just don't understand what is happening right now. Why are people petting when they're like P5 or P6? Oh, I don't get this. I don't get it. Suchel's still in the lead of the. Actually, no, it's going to be close, isn't it? Yeah, it's It's about a 3-second gap between Francisco. So as it stands right now, it will be Francisco, Suchel, Villeneuve. With how it is right now, and then I believe Esford, Black Wolf, Elliot, because Elliot's on 6 seconds. As it's going to be another fight between Elliot and Esford. Elliot barely leaving any room, but there's room. And Esford just taking like the grass route, kind of. Oh wait, Maverick. Oh my goodness, Maverick's going to get like P5. He has no penalties. As I think Margonius pitted to try to take the fastest lap of the race, but I think lost the position in the meantime, so I don't know. I don't really get it. As Leeweb takes the fastest lap, so it's going to be between Leeweb and Margonius for fastest lap, I believe. Yeah, Margonius he's going for the fastest lap against Leeweb. It's going to be between the two. Did Leeweb use all of his ARS? Yeah, he did, and he's using it again to try to beat Margonius. As his tyres are literally just new and fresh. Oh my goodness, Suchel's nearly dropped out of... Suchel's out of the 3-second gap between Villeneuve. So this is how the top three could look right now. Francisco, Villeneuve, Suchel. As the gap is extending from Villeneuve and Suchel. Elliot gets another penalty, Elliot! It's this time Esford's on the inside. And Esford gets the position, but Elliot is going to get the DRS. And we'll want this position back. Without a doubt. And they're going to be side by side. Esford tries to go for a switchback. Oh, Elliot, he's there. Elliot, he's not there anymore. Elliot gets the position. 9 seconds though. He's going to drop back to P7, sadly. Which you don't love to see, but I think it's what's going to happen. I don't know with the penalties who's going to be where. All I know, Francisco P1, Villeneuve P2, Suchel P3. That's all I know right now. It's a bit of a mess. I think Esford's going to be P4. Black Wolf, I think, will be P6. Maverick will be P5. And Elliot will be P... And Elliot will be P7, is what I'm trying to say. Goodness sake, my English there, man. Bit of a mess there. As the F5 chat is going off a little bit. I'm just looking at it now. But anyway, it's the last lap. The last lap of F5 this season. As we're going to enter in a few seconds. Oh, Francisco has a moment. Oh my goodness, my heart there. Francisco, don't spin now. Suchel's on... Wait, Suchel could be puncture territory. Anyway, we are entering the last lap of PlayStation F5 in Season 8. And it is Francisco first right now. This means he takes P2 in the championship. Villeneuve's P2. This means he will take P3 in the championship. Suchel looking for his second or third podium, I believe. Does he have a puncture? No. But his tyres are going to be dead. As he's on 21 lap old mediums. But quite a few of those laps were on safety car. So he's probably taking this quite chill, I would say. As he doesn't have penalties as well. But we look behind and we see Elliot Parker, Esford, Black Wolf, Maverick. Maverick, no penalties. Will get the position on Black Wolf and Parker as well, I think. So Maverick, going to get some good points here. I think P5 it is for Maverick. Anyway, we look to the man who's entering Sector 3 right now. He's had a phenomenal last season. He's had a phenomenal season, and he's going to finish P2 in the championship. Francisco comes across the line in Brazil to win and finish P2 in the championship. Villeneuve comes across the line to get P3 in the championship, and Suchel gets another podium on 22 lap old mediums. As we're going to see the position mess and see where everyone is going to be finishing. It's going to be S4 P4, Maverick P5, Parker P6, and Daniel or Blackwolf P7. It's then going to be Morgonius in P8, I believe. Then we're going to see Lee Webb P9. We're going to see fastest lap attempts here, actually. Maybe not for Morgonius, but Lee Webb doesn't set the fastest lap. But we're going to see Morgonius in P8. He'll finish P4 in the championship. Sadly, he's going to fall out. P2 in the last race, but he's sadly going to fall down. We're going to see Lee Webb P9. James Sullivan P10. And we see Swiss Stack doing donuts. We love this. Swiss Stack is doing donuts and retires from the session. You love Swiss Stack for doing that. But that was a race. Wow, wow, wow. Now, I'm going to say this. You're not going to see this, but there is going to be so many reports for this last race. Everyone just being so eager to get the positions. I can imagine it's going to be like, this whole grid is going to be so different. But anyway, it's a Portuguese 1-2 as Francisco starts P2, gets front wing damage on the first lap, and drops all the way down to the back of the grid, and finishes P1. Unbelievable race from him, a deserved P2 in the championship. Villeneuve, P2, will put him into P3 in the championship. He doesn't finish P4 again in the championship like he did last season in F5. So congrats to Villeneuve on that. Suchol, another podium. Congrats to him. P3 from P10. Esford, P12 to P4. Brilliant last race from him. That's going to gain him a few positions, surely. Maverick, P14 to P5 as well. Elliot, P6. That's going to promote him a few places. That's, 8 points, so that's quite good. Daniel, P7. He will stay P5 in the championship. Morgonius, P8. Sadly, in Abu Dhabi, was P2, but has now sadly dropped down to P4. That is just so sad. It's an unlucky end of the season for Morgonius. Lee Webb comes across the line P9, and James Sullivan P10. We have Swiss Stack, who was doing donuts at the end. We love Swiss Stack. And then we have all the DNFers of Tim, Zolf, Shade Maps, Lean, and Nick Hill. Can I get race director done? No. Oh, wait. Yes, I can. I got it done. Okay, good. I managed to just get it done in time. But anyway, thank you to everyone for coming and watching this last race in F5. Of course, next season, you will see PlayStation F5 again, I imagine. And you're probably not going to see me in F5. I mean, we might. But maybe Jack Bailey might return. Who knows? But I just want to say thank you to everyone who came by and watched today's stream and the whole season. The last few races commentated by me, and mainly the others commentated by Jack Bailey. We both really appreciate everyone coming in and tuning for the F5 race, even though we are the lowest tier, as it can be one of the most chaotic tiers, but it is one of the most funnest tiers, and there is definitely fun racing. I was going to say, tune in next week for the next race, but there is no races next week. But I can tell you this, you can tune in for the next few races at Brazil. This is the finale week of ERO Season 8. In about an hour's time, actually, in 45 minutes time, F4 will be happening. Maybe a few drivers from F5 might be racing in that. We're going to have to wait and see. F3 tomorrow, 4 p.m. I will be racing in that. I'll be trying to secure my P2 as it's not secure yet. P2 or P3 is where I'll be finishing the championship, which I am happy with. Then 7 p.m. tomorrow is F2, which the championship is already decided. Brendan Bashi has already won it, but other positions further down the field will be fighting. And F1, how can I say it? PlayStation F1, the championship decider in Brazil, the last race, second season in a row, we've went to the last race to see the champion be crowned. As it's going to be Black Box against AXA, a 23-point gap. Highly unlikely that Black Box will be able to win it, but who knows? Mathematically, he can still win it. AXA has to finish what? P either DNF outside of the points, P10 or P9, and Black Box has to win, and then it will be Black Box winning the winning the season, which would be phenomenal if it was to happen. But like I said, thank you to everyone from the bottom of my heart for tuning in for today's race, and we will see you next season in PlayStation F5. It's been Cameron Don signing out, and we'll see you in about end of January for the first Season 9 race in PlayStation F5.